What's up guys and welcome back. For this video, I'd like to quickly go over something. A new scene from the game has been revealed, and we basically noticed a robot factory. The factory is located on planet Quartu, and this is where we see Clank for the first time. Now what is going on during this scene? We have Nefarious' robots setting coordinates for planet Q1. They're basically preparing for an attack. And at a point, we see Clank with his eyes shot off. Now all these robots in the factory have red eyes, which gives them the ability to scan whatever they're looking for. And the same goes for Clank, initially. However, for a brief moment, we notice Clank's eyes turn red. Now could this mean anything? Probably not for now. We know that Clank has green eyes, right? So the story regarding Clank should be pretty basic in the first game. But if you've played up your arsenal, Clank had an evil counterpart, known as Clunk, and we know that Clunk had red eyes. For some of you who haven't played Ratchet Clank, who is Clunk? Clunk was basically a robot created by Dr. Nefarious, and he acted as a spy. At a point in Up Your Arsenal, Clank got switched with Clunk. Now how did that exactly happen? At a point, Clank was shooting for Secret Agent Clank, and basically Courtney Gears shot a bunch of lasers in his eyes and he shut down. With that being done, Clank meets Nefarious. Nefarious wanted Clank to assist him. Since Clank refused, Nefarious just decided to come up with a robot very similar to Clank, with the name Clunk. Clunk would basically record every single move Ratchet would make. And Ratchet didn't recognize Clunk at first, he thought it was Clank. They looked the same. And then, in the end, Nefarious' plan failed and Clank was basically found. Clunk also appeared in Secret Agent Clank. He was the main villain of the game. He also acted as the mastermind behind the theft of the Eye of Infinity. I don't think Secret Agent Clank was considered canon. I guess the game was basically a spin-off. Okay, since Clank's eyes turned red for a brief moment in the new game, does this mean that Clunk might actually return in future sequels? Well, sequels after the new game, I mean. Now look, I don't know if you've watched my previous video, but Insomniac Games currently doesn't know if they'll continue from the new game or after into the Nexus. Despite Clank's eyes turning red, we also have references from Going Commando. We also have signs of Megacorp on Q1. And Megacorp was basically mentioned during the hoverboard races. Who knows, maybe these might be just simple references. Maybe we'll get a game after the new game, I don't know. I guess only time will tell. Here's the tricky part however. Wasn't Clunk a different robot? Yes he was. Now since we saw Clank's eyes turn red, does this mean that Clank is also Clunk? Kind of gets confusing, right? Since the game has a lot of reimagined stuff, maybe Insomniac Games decided to make Clunk and Clank the same robot this time. Now I'm not saying that Clunk is appearing in the new game, he won't. Maybe I might be overthinking, since you know the robots behind Clank have red eyes, and the red eyes might simply be scanners, if you want to put it that way. If the eyes are scanners, why didn't Insomniac Games give red eyes to Clank? They could have picked other colors, right? But something tells me that Clunk and Clank are the same robot this time. Think of it as a reimagining of Clunk. And look, Nefarious has been introduced in the new game. Since Nefarious originally created Clunk, Insomniac Games probably thought of, hey, let's just make Clunk and Clank the same robot this time. Why not? Cause you know Nefarious created Clunk in Up Your Arsenal. And since the developer is mixing a bunch of stuff, then maybe Clank being Clunk might make sense. At first, when I saw the red eyes, I was like, Nefarious created a robot that looked exactly like Clank in Up Your Arsenal. If he did create another robot that looked like Clank, then why does Clank have red eyes for a brief moment? Okay, let's think of it this way. Since the game is a reimagining, we're expecting a lot of changes and elements. And I guess they decided to make Clunk and Clank the same robot. If they're the same robot, how will this fit into the new story? If Insomniac Games decides to make a sequel, I believe that the next sequel will be Going Commando mixed with Up Your Arsenal. And here's what's gonna happen. Nefarious meets Clank, and realizes that his eyes turn red at one point. Knowing that he was originally a defect, he scans him. With that being done, he realizes that there's some evil inside him. He uses that and builds a new robot, and simply names him Clunk. Or look, let me put it this way. Nefarious meets Clank, reprograms him, and basically uses his inner evil to basically spy on Ratchet, and thus the red eyes come into play. But anyways, at the end of the day, I might be overthinking too much. Insomniac Games probably just added that in just for reference. But why give him red eyes knowing that Clunk was a different robot? That's why this whole situation is confusing. For someone who's never tried Ratchet & Clank, it's simple to understand. However, for fans who've played pretty much every single game, they might get confused and be like, why is Clank Clunk? Clunk was a different robot, what's going on? Anyways, like I just said, his red eyes might simply be a reference. And it's pretty cool that they decided to add in Clunk. Or we might simply be confusing the red eyes with Clunk. The red eyes are basically scanners maybe. I mean, we see Clank scanning the Galactic Rangers with his red eyes, so maybe his red eyes are simply a scanning device. Anyways, I'm gonna end the video right here, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. If you have any thoughts and concerns, leave them in the comments. I've been Vivi, and thanks for watching.